Guys, welcome back to the channel. John here, and you're on the Sky One Videos channel. I have my NASA shirt on. I'm gonna be a rocket scientist. I'm gonna install this radio in my wife's car. This is a Yaesu. No, it's not a Yaesu, it's an Icom. This is a 2730A, and it's yeah, it's an Icom. Look how small this thing is. This is a 50-watt radio. It's called a dual band. It is 2 meters, 70 centimeters. So that's VHF, UHF. This is the head for it. It's like a white paper style head. It's gonna be really nice. I had a radio in her car once before. I'm going to put a new one, and what makes it nice about it is the cables are still here, so it should be pretty easy to go. I'm using a glass mount antenna, and I got to tell you, first of all, for those of you that are not radio people, because I got both. I've got car people and I got radio people. Emergency communications is one reason, okay? So if you're gonna trust your cell tower, you think that if there's an emergency, you think everybody's gonna get through that cell tower, I got news for you. They got a special thing for first responders. They get first dibs on the cell towers. After that, like, they'll get on there and they'll talk if there's an emergency, instead of doing what they have to do or just sending a text or whatever. We had an ice storm here in North Carolina. Really bad one. My wife was stuck at work. She was trying to come home and couldn't get through on the cell towers. Cell towers were completely jammed. Couldn't make any calls. She called me on the ham radio, and a matter of fact, somebody told me she was calling for me, so I knew she was looking for me. I went repeater hopped a couple repeaters, and I got a hold of her. Yeah, so I was able to talk back to her and get back, you know, this. So listen, there's different antennas you can use. There's different radios. There's good, there's cheap, whatever. You gotta have something, whether it's a handheld or whatever. If you're in the mountains and something breaks down and you get no cell tower, I mean, what the heck are you gonna do? So it's good to have a backup plan. So anyway, I'm gonna hook this thing up in our car. I'm gonna show you how it works and all that, but my concern is I had the radio mounted in a different spot. I had the radio mounted here down below before, different radio, and then I had a radio up here mounted, and I gotta clear that glue off. But she wants it here. She wants to head up here so she can see it eye level while she's driving. So yeah, what we got? This is really cool stuff, though. Part of the fun of a radio is doing the installation, so we'll see how it works out. All right, see you in a minute. Good news is I don't have to run a power lead. She's got an outlet right back here, and I got a cigarette lighter plug. So yeah, up to 50 watts I'll be okay on a cigarette lighter plug. If I hooked up an HF rig, I don't know if I would do that. I would probably run the power all the way up, but I'm gonna see how it works out, and if I get too much noise and static, then I'll go ahead and run the power leads. I have power leads, but it's a pain because you got to go all the way up, and then you go through the firewall to the battery. So I'm gonna try this first and see how it works out. Just to give you an idea about accessories, this is a kit, 2730R. It has a mobile mounting bracket with hardware. That's for the body, and then magnetic bracket for the head. So I think it was 60 bucks, $59 or something like that. But I mean, come on, really? So radio was 300, and then you're gonna pay another 60 for that. I'm gonna put the bracket right here. I'm gonna drill. See, it's thick, so it's 2 pieces. Hopefully the screws will hold into this stuff. I don't know, but the rig isn't all that heavy. Yeah, it is kind of heavy, but I'll put a number of screws in there. It should be okay. And then I'm gonna make sure I angle it kind of close to this end so it doesn't hit this. So yeah, let's see how this goes. I have my tripod here, sorry, but a lot of people haven't seen this bracket because it doesn't come with the radio. So this is the mobile mounting bracket that goes to this radio, and I wanted to see how much it's gonna bring it down further. It looks like about 3/4 of an inch, maybe 1 inch. So to mount it here, I want to make sure that it's going to clear enough with that right there. So let me measure that, and we should be good to go. To there, 4.5 inches. So I'm not going to have any problem with this at all. So yeah, let's go ahead and mount this bracket. Nice that these screws are self-tapping. Makes it real easy. All right, let me get them in here. I know the most used tool in my toolbox, the magnet. What are the odds that this thing went down in here? The screw and the washer. All right, so I got that there, and now let's mount this radio on there. Before I forget, let me get the serial number, 300. All right, so I'm putting radios in both of these cars. On this one, let me show you. In the back, there's a little cigarette lighter plug right there, and I was using that, and the plug started melting. You know, there's a little center conductor. Well, I'll show you the photos. Center conductor, there's a spring, so it's got a little give. Well, that thing started heating up, and it started melting the plastic. So I ordered a new set of cigarette lighter plugs. Not the best way to do it. Should run the wire all the way through. I'm gonna do that. I got the wire. If I have to, that's what I'll do. But I've run this car before with just a cigarette lighter plug and it worked fine. So I'd like to just get away with that if possible. Tested that antenna right there, the glass mount, and although I get a decent SWR, it's really not throwing the signal I wanted to. I wanted to go with the other mount. Now I could go with some sort of luggage rack, but these luggage racks aren't really grounded. I don't think they're grounded. So I wanted to go with a trunklet mount right here. And I had a trunklet mount, but it was just a little bit too long, so it wouldn't fit. So I got a shorter one. I'm gonna try to put it right here. So let's try that, and then we'll compare it against that antenna with this one here. When you get a trunklet mount antenna, make sure you get it with the thin wire. See how it's got that real thin stuff? If you use the thicker stuff, it goes in here and water can kind of leak in. This is a little bit better to deal with. Yeah, so I never had one that was like apart like this, so this is new for me. So let's see. It also articulates, so 2-axis, so it should be pretty cool. And with the paint on it, I don't know, do I have to, I think I might have to scratch some of that paint off. So inside the package here, you get some of these little sticky things, you get some Allen wrenches, instructions. I want to show you something. See how it's got this little shim right there? Let me drop this out. See that little shim right there? So a lot of these thin metal cars, if you don't use that shim, when you tighten that set screw, it's going to dimple it out onto the other side. I installed one of these on another Mazda and I didn't do that, and yeah, it dimpled it. The reason why I didn't use the shim was because, like, how is the set screw gonna get ground if I have the shim on there? Because the set screw has to dig through the paint, you know. So just be forewarned when you go to mount this. Look closely at that. See that raised out part? That's just caulking. That's not even metal. So yeah, I'm gonna have a problem getting the ground on that. Alright, I got the mount on. As you can see, this bracket here moves. This piece here moves. Got a little turning thing here. So should be okay. I think I'm going to turn it so that the thumb wheel is on the outside. That would make more sense. Should be good like that. Alright, so I got that tightened down. The rest are loose. I'm going to put the antenna part on there, mount on there. So it gives you a metal cap. You take the cap off. And then you've got the bottom and the top. So, alright, so let's put this in through the bottom, and then this piece here will go on through the top. Okay, I got it on there just loose right now, but that's how it's going to look. Let's put the antenna on and see if it goes vertical. Ah, I grabbed the wrong antenna. This is an NMO mount, okay, and that's an SO mount. So I grabbed the wrong antenna. I have a SO mount antenna. Let me grab it. Okay, so here's the SO mount. See that? It's like kind of like the PL259 connector. But I worry about this one because this one had an issue with it, and I actually fixed it. I had to take it apart to fix it. All right, so I got it on there. The best place to put an antenna is on the roof, center of the roof. The thing is, my wife goes in a parking garage. She goes to Chick-fil-A, and it'd be a problem. So let's see how this works. I'm gonna tighten it up, and I'm gonna test the antenna first with my analyzer. I tested continuity. This thing is making ground contact. That's making ground contact. This part is making ground contact, but this antenna part is not. So I do have to scrape away some of that paint. So I had to scratch the paint off of the back of that so this thing would make a good connection. So we'll try it again here. And I also lowered that nut down a little bit because this was sticking up a little bit too much. Actually, now I went down too much the other way. I'm gonna give it a little bit more. All right, so the SWR is really good on this thing. It's flat right at 145.89, 1.2. So we can go 144 to 148. So the very top of the band here is like 1.3. 1.2. It could, the whip could go in just a teeny bit. I usually try to tune it for 146. 145.7. Not exact, but close enough for government work. I think I'm going to leave it here. I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of go along the lip here. So I had her rear dash cam there, and it goes out. So I'll tie up these two wires together. But I kind of went in here. Now remember, when you shut this, it's going to pull a little bit. So make sure you leave a little bit of slack there. And then I'll put a little sticky thing to hold it in position. So it'll be like that, because the gasket runs right along here. So I'm going to put it right here. I noticed after I mounted it that this is offset on the radio, so that actually worked good. So when I close this, it's going to be kind of pushed more towards the back. I think I'll have a little bit more room than I thought I did. So let's see here as I close this slowly. That's gonna be just fine right there, see? She's gonna be just fine. Should mount a big ass amplifier in here while I'm at it, right? Alright, let's continue on. Okay, I didn't want to cut wires and I had to work on my cable management, but this is what I came up with. I think I probably should have put the extra wire over here and then cabled it over nicely over here, instead of it all dangling right there. But just on with a tie wrap so I can move that in a little bit. Let me just get this thing checked out. Got the antenna hooked up, got the remote hooked up. Plug is going to go here, and let's work on the remote head. The other piece that they don't give you. That little piece of metal, a couple magnets, and a couple little tiny screws. Yeah, can you believe it? I think this thing was, bought it separately. I think this was like, oh, I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks, 30 bucks, I think. Crazy, huh? All right, so let's get this going. On the back of the unit, got these little screws. Yeah, by having it this way, it makes it a little bit thinner, a little lower profile. The old school, it would mount to the radio directly, but it would protrude out more. So I think that's what they're trying to do, make it more flush. So I'm okay with it. I paid for it once and I got it, you know. Okay, mounted the magnets. This is the plate. Makes it removable. All right. Well, I think I left the speaker in there too. I don't think I removed the speaker. I'm gonna power this up and see what happens. I heard sound. Where did I get that from? That's the left. I'm not hearing the right. Okay, it's probably in the menu. I have to set that. I'm gonna set it to both. In case you've never seen, these are CD mounts. If you get a CD player, you want it to hold your phone. It's designed to hold your phone, you know, right by where the CD player. You put it that way or this way. This one, you kind of squeeze it, and that's how it holds it in. I got this one where you squeeze it and it goes that way. They both have magnets. They come with metal plates. I wanted to use it to hold the remote head on her radio to where it needs to be. So yeah, we're gonna try that. By the way, this is Wix gear, and this one is TechMate, just so you know. All right, so you can see how she has it in her car. All right, and this can pivot. You can turn it around a little bit, and so she likes it like that, you know. But to me, that's a little bit loosey-goosey. So I thought I would try this one. This will hold it a little bit further back. It's got a smaller magnet though. So let's see. Right now this magnet's too strong. So and keep in mind the microphone cord plugs into it. So you want it to have enough. But yeah, let's just see how this other one fits in. I took this one out and I put this one in, and this one definitely seems to be a little better. I don't know if I like that push button up at the top. I think, well, that's my only choice though, but it's definitely more firm. So let's see how this thing goes on here now. I love magnets. These new Namidia magnets are the coolest thing. So that's pretty good. It's got a tightening screw, so let me adjust that tightening screw a little bit. But I'm definitely happier with this than this. I'll show you with the see if there's anybody out here. I can change the channels with this.
And I think that's all well, no, I need to go to the dentist and get some.
Let me see, one of these is weather.
After midnight, lows in the mid-30s. West winds around 5 miles per hour.
So yeah, this is gonna work out pretty good. What I did is I put the magnet on the small one from the big one, but it has a little bit of play. See how it has a little bit of play? I don't know why. It's not from where it tightens, it's from inside, internally in that thing. I guess I could drop some super glue in there once when I adjust it exactly how I want it, but it's a lot more stable than this other one. This one kind of bouncy a little bit. I think if you used it for what it was intended for, which is a phone, it should be just fine. But I'm gonna go this way. It's gonna be a little different. Get this one tangled up here. See how we can, I don't know if that's a big deal. I think that'll be right. I have to put a little clip up here to hold it. But I don't know, if I put a clip to hold this wire, she won't be able to just grab this and take it down. She wants to be able to take the head off, put it in this sock, which is really designed for sunglasses, put it in there so she can hide it in the glove box when she goes someplace. But I think this is gonna work out all right. So this is the CD mount, and this is a pretty cool radio. This is the 2730A Icom, and we tried it.
7AHE, Mark here in Stanford.
We tried it at night.
Good afternoon to you, and check in there.
So you can have two, you know,
Hope you have a
right?
great
You can
rest of your
have
day.
2 meters on both sides, UHF on both sides, UHF, VHF. Does crossband repeating if you want to do that. Gosh, he's got this thing really cold in here. But it's a very good radio. I like this radio. Very good. When we were driving, there was like no static, and the only thing I had an issue with was this was bouncing a lot when we run over bumps. So yeah, this one just, I don't know, I don't like it as much. But I did like the magnet on it better. So if you use it what it's intended for, it'll be fine. She didn't have any issues with it, but I did. All right. Now she might have an issue because it seems to block the radio slightly, but we'll see. All right, so I'm not sure if I'm going to remove this just yet. I might leave it on for a little bit. So this is the antenna I've got set on here now. This is the diamond dual band. This is the 770HB, so this is the SO mount. It handles 200 watts. We have, as you've seen in some of my other videos, I've got 160 watt brick amplifier. So if I want to run an amplifier at 2 meters, run 160 watts, I can go up to 200 watts through this antenna. Why would I ever need that much power? Probably don't, but if I ever do like 2 meter sideband, because we have other radios. What's cool about these rigs, these dual band radios, the show you. This cable that goes to the remote head from the body, it's the same. It's straight through. So it's the same whether it's ICOM or Yaesu, which is really cool. So this is ICOM. But if we decide to put the HF rig in here and do some, you know, shortwave operation, we can just unplug this remote head, unplug it from at the back, and drop in the other rig and just use the same cable, same speakers, everything. So it's pretty good. I like it. I could put any rig in any car. It's kind of, the cabling is going to be universal, and I'm glad they did it that way. So yeah. So the next video, I'm going to show you the Yaesu 857D in the Challenger. No, what's cool about it is I don't always have to have the antennas on there. The HF antenna, which is kind of big. I can take it off. I can remove it. But I'll just probably leave the mount on it and just put the HF antenna on when I feel like operating HF. I might end up getting another mount for her and doing the same thing, because I'd like her to be able to have an HF radio as well. For SHTF or whatever, VHF is nice, but it's kind of reliant on repeaters. When you get on shortwave, I mean, so with VHF, my next hop might be, I don't know, 40 miles away into a repeater, right? But when you get on shortwave, your next hop could be in another state, which depending on where the area of emergency is, how far you have to transmit to get out. So shortwave is, shortwave and having VHF, UHF is really the way to go. And these rigs, this one's not unlocked, but mine's unlocked. So if I have to get on GMRS in case of emergency, or have to get on CB band, 11 meters, if in case of emergency, I can go anywhere on my rig, my Yaesu. And yeah, so cool. Hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna do another video installing the 857D in the Challenger. You might want to see that. That should be pretty cool. And be sure to thumbs up the video so I can get more subscribers. Sometimes I don't get much. Anyway, I'll try to mix it up a little bit for you. 73. Bye.